Welcome to the CA Performance Management version 3.5 video CA Performance Management Device Type Enhancements. Device types supply context to dashboards and context pages. This video shows how CA Performance Management 3.5 extends both the number of available types and the methods in which typing can customize the presentation of data. In an effort to provide enhanced visibility into distribution, security, and wireless technologies, CA Performance Management 3.5 introduces 4 new types to classify devices: load balancer, firewall, wireless access point, and wireless controller. Device classification is important since many decisions about data presentation in the CA Performance Center UI is based on it. In previous versions of CA Performance Management, device classification was represented in a single attribute called type, whose value for physical devices could be server, switch, router, pingable, or other. Version 3.5 extends device classification by adding a new attribute called context types, which can take on a comma-separated list of values including the 4 new types. Configuration options set in the data aggregator component of the architecture control whether any of the 4 new types override or augment a standard classification of server, switch, or router as determined dynamically through a standard identification MIB object called sysservices. Separate configurations are applied based on System Object Identifier. Let's look at an example CA Performance Management 3.5 device inventory to illustrate. For this device, its firewall classification augments its server classification, resulting in a device which supports both types, but its type attribute remains server. In contrast, this device has a wireless access point classification which overrides any standard type. In this case, a new value introduced in 3.5, manageable device, is assigned to the type attribute. The 2 attributes, type and context types, are designed to serve different purposes in device classification. The type attribute reflects the base classification of the device that best fits its overall functionality. Among other things, this controls which context page is used for the device, for example, router, server, or device. The context types attribute lists one or more facets of the device, allowing it to have multiple identities that accurately represent the device's capabilities. Returning to the device inventory, this device has an overall classification as a server while having the capabilities of a server, firewall, and load balancer. This device is typed as a router while having router, switch, and firewall capabilities. Now let's examine how the new context types attribute drives adaptive UI functionality. In the inventory, the device context types column is visible by default and, like any other column, can be used to perform sorting and searching. Device context types can also be added to table views, including group scorecard table views and, as seen here, composite chart table views. Of course, the basic device type can still be added to a table view as before. Support for context types has been added to the dashboard builder to filter device inventory during context setting when adding views to the layout. The group editor now supports context types on its Items tab to enable filtering. Here we're filtering for load balancers. The editor also supports context types within rule conditions in order to control group membership. Here, we're using an exact match of the context types list to add devices which are simultaneously but exclusively servers and firewalls. Or you can use the is-like operator to match across basic device types. This condition will add all load balancers to the group regardless of whether each device is a server, router, or any other basic device type. Context pages will now dynamically add out-of-the-box sections based on a device's supported context types, which in CA Performance Management 3.5 are now shown in the Details section. In this example, the server is also a firewall, prompting the addition of the Firewall Context section. The following Firewall Custom Tab section is an example of a user-defined section that can be added but locked down to a specific device context in this case, Firewall. Both sections only show up on servers that also support firewall functionality. This behavior highlights how the new device context types functionality has been used in version 3.5 to enable adaptive data presentation. For more detailed information about device type enhancements or other 3.5 features, click the information bubble in the top right corner to load the product page. From there, you can go to the product documentation, visit the CA communities, or see the learning path.